Okay, so first I have to say I will keep on posting leaks, but after one day I will take them off my YouTube because I just got copyright striked for the previous chapter leaks, which was 333. By the time you'll see this video, like it'll be a few days after chapter 333 officially came out, but I will post the leaks the same day, but after a day that they came out, the leaks, which is Tuesday to Wednesday, they will be gone because I got copyright struck and I don't want that on my YouTube channel. So there's that, and I will not provide panels for the chapter reviews, at least not yet, because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So we start off this chapter 332. We started off with Lucius Zogratis, the fourth Zogratis sibling, gathering the other half of the heart, which is, the devil heart for Lucifero. And I just want to say that it's been so fucking long. Like I seen these characters like grow up, right? And it's kind of like brings me back a lot of nostalgia, right? Like these 3 months that we had with No Black Clover really like a lot of people digested the content that was previously there, and pretty much it. But this chapter, like half of it felt very lively, right? Like the characters felt real, and I feel like through a part of the war they didn't kind of feel real. It was kind of just like power ups, backstories. Like the backstories, some of them were fine, but then we had goofy ass ones like Jack the Ripper's, right? And that one was really pretty goofy, but like the other ones were fine. But I feel like this is what Black Clover needed, right? Just a break, a time skip, and just to refresh the characters and make them feel alive, right? No conflict, just at least for half a chapter. And that was fine. I love Nero's interaction with Mimosa and Noel, making them believe that, teasing them that Asta was going to confess, and they thought to themselves that they were going to confess to them, to Noel or Mimosa. So I thought that was really like character driven, like character acting, I guess you could say. It was just fun. And not just that, but Charlotte, we gotta remember that as well. She confessed to Yami on like his deathbed, but Yami didn't, he didn't know. He was still like through the ins and outs of death. So Finra, my goat, reminds him, hey yo, do you remember this that happened? And Charlotte told you all of this, that she loved you. And then Yami's all like, oh, so that was the strange key, which low key, I thought that Tabata forgot about that, about how Yami could just like sense like the key with the emotions and stuff like that. I thought he just forgot about all of that, but no, he didn't. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I like that tidbit. Another thing that they show us that has happened is the people of the Clover Kingdom still don't care, and they don't believe about Asta, which is crazy to me. You literally saw him save you when there was a devil trying to destroy you and like the citizens, and he came and saved your ass. Like if I was Asta, I'd be like, fuck these guys, like I wouldn't do anything bad, but I'd just be like, fuck them, start like an anti-propaganda against the nobles or something. But yeah, so it sucks that that still is going on, but it makes sense towards chapter 333 and Julius and Lucius, which we will discuss in a bit. But anyways, at the end of the chapter, after everything gets discussed about who's going to be the next Wizardkin between Nozel or Nozel, Fuego Leon or Fuego Leon, and Mereoleona. It's weird, her name. Like, yeah, I speak Spanish and shit, but like that shit is still weird to say. Pero yeah, Mereoleona. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens And actually, before I move on to the ending of the chapter, I'm just remembering how there's still like devils, like hiding and shit, and there's devil activity. So it's gonna be fun, especially for the game of Black Clover, if they adapt this part later on, like 2 years into the like 2 years from now. So like the anime and the Black Clover movie and the game already came out. It's gonna be interesting how they adapt this little tidbit about how like they're going on quests or missions to defeat these like minority of devils that have like no power, or like try to um, capture them. So we shall see what the anime and games can do that for that little like little lore, I guess you could say, or world building. But something that I also really like, besides like half the chapter it being like comical, it was also serious. So whenever Asta confessed to Sister Lily that he truly did love her, it was like, yeah, you got rid of this goofy ass, like parody ass side thing for the story, right? Like it was fine, right? Like I didn't have a problem with it. A lot of people did, especially whenever Black Clover came out. I remember 2017, 18, when people were saying that Asta just kept on harassing her, which I didn't see it like that. It was just more of like a fun little side story thing, like comedic between two characters, right? It wasn't that important. But it's nice to see that it actually developed into something later on, which is bad news for Sister Lily, because she can either die or she's just going to become irrelevant as fuck. And I just feel like something bad is going to happen, because we like Asta confessing to her and him getting rejected in a really awful way by saying that, you know, word for word, I'm going to say what Sister Lily said. You really are that dashing, now aren't you? But I'm sorry, you're like family to me, my dashing, cute little brother. I saw this whenever the spoilers came out, and I was just like, damn. And it wasn't too hard, the translations for that then. But now with these actual official ones, it was pretty fucking heavy. Like, but also took it like a champ. I could tell he was about to cry. Just look at his fucking eyes. But he took it like a champ, and he's like, I understand that I cannot change nobody else's feelings. Thus, that was my last time, and I'm going to give up. But that opens the door for Noel and Mimosa, especially since they saw. And then Lucius, at the end of the chapter cliffhanger, he pops up and he says, congratulations, you've arrived. This your final destination. So that was pretty epic. He's all like, my man's caught a L. I wonder if he heard the rejection, which, not gonna lie, he probably did. But that is it for chapter 332. So let's go to 333. So we don't actually start off where we left off last chapter. We start off in a backstory towards Lucius and how he realized, and it's a good parallel to Julius, right, and his inner thoughts back and like the early chapters, and like the early 100 chapters, I believe, and early as well, like Black Clover anime episodes, whenever he had the inner dialogue with himself and who he wants to be. And this is where it gets iffy, like the theories, right? You can either believe that Julius is like Patri, or you could believe, which is the theory that I believe, that because it is stated that he has two souls inside this body, I believe that it is actually a radical. It's like a yin and yang. So you have Lucius, who is the radical version of Julius, and then you got Julius, which he has the more realistic, pragmatic way of looking at things. He understands that it's going to take a while and we should be patient. But Lucius is the one that pretty much is in control. Like, he knows that this shit is just not gonna happen, and he wants to deal with his ideals, and his ideals is everybody is going to be equal. However, if they challenge or oppose me, then I must take them away, which, as far as we know, Asta is the only one that can really challenge him because he has anti-magic, and that's why he wants to get rid of him. So it's interesting how this is gonna play out, because what is Asta gonna do? He's already confronting him, and he, by the end of the chapter, he says that he will surpass the Wizard King, here and now, because he can't do that like later on. Like he can, right? Because of the plot, because it's a shonen. But right now he has to do this because Lucius is way more powerful than Julius, and you even see him do what he did to Damnatio, where he tapped him in the forehead, and he just completely was wiped, and people were like, oh, where the hell did he go? He just disappeared out of nowhere. So he has to find a way. I believe that Asta will not surpass him. I feel as if Asta and Lily, or at least Sister Lily, will die, if not be crippled, or something horrible is going to happen to her. Meanwhile, Asta, I feel as if he has to do something. Maybe they capture Sister Lily and he has to go on a quest and like save her. But I believe he's not going to do that. I don't know how Tabata is going to play this out, but it's going to be amazing. Also, another note is Julius has the mark on his forehead, right? But so does Julius and Lucius have that same mark on their forehead. However, they're opposite. If you see it, Julius is more of counterclockwise, while Lucius is clockwise. The little like solar shits that I got, right? Like the ring or whatever. So that's pretty interesting. And even last chapter, he only had like half, which is weird. I guess only whenever he uses his actual like power, he has like the entire symbol, fully encircled. So he freezes time for everybody. Sister Lily, Mimosa, Noel, Nero, they all get frozen in time. Pulls up, it's about to tap Asta in the forehead, and Asta is like, nope, you're not the Wizard King. And he, without having to use Libe, he just uses his regular devil form that we've been seeing since the early anime, since the Witch arc. We see him use that, but now with 4 horns, 2 wings, I believe, and just with the hand. I actually like Asta's character design. I believe that him getting taller is better because he's not like a chunky, macho, like weird looking like buff gnome. So it's pretty good. Now that this is happening, Asta questions him, and Lucius explains to him his ideals, which is he believes that everybody is equal, but the only problem is Asta. And Asta agrees to a certain extent, and I feel as if everybody does, even in the real world, everybody does want to be equal. However, the way he's doing it is basically just dictatorship. It's dictatorship, because that's what it is. Everybody's equal except for the king, right? And it's kind of hypocritical as well, because he still wants to be the king, but he wants everybody to be equal. But it doesn't work like that, because the king has power and status over everybody else. And a lot of times, from what we see in our own world, is if you go against them and they control the society around them, then you're gonna end up dead, the people that go against them. I just love what is already set with these 2 chapters. Will Asta actually be him and surpass the Wizard King? And if he does, what will happen to Lucius? And then we got the other one. If Lucius wins this, how is he gonna win it? Is he gonna capture Sister Lily? Is he gonna kill Asta, Sister Lily? Or because what I believe is he's gonna damage both of them, maybe even capture Sister Lily and take her away. But for sure, they're gonna end up severely injured. And Nero, Mimosa's a healer, let's not forget. So I believe that Mimosa can easily heal him back to full strength. Noelle, she's already like a stage like 0 mage because of her powers and shit, that especially the powers that Undyne helped her with in the last arc and the previous arc. So I wonder how this is all going to be set up. Nero can also like capture him, put him in a time basically capsule, who knows, like just capture that motherfucker, imprison him for a while. So it's going to be interesting. And with that being said, hopefully y'all enjoyed. Give a like if you want to. I will bring, and it's going to be more professionally done. It's just, right now I'm just spitting out of my ass because it's 2 chapters because I had to do last week's. So expect it to be, especially later on this month, should be more professionally made. I'm sorry for not providing panels. I just don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. And I love Black Clover. I've been watching it for 6 years. It's gonna be interesting where this leaves off. But thank y'all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and peace out.